In the last few days, social media has been flooded with shocking posts, emotional videos, and confusing claims involving legendary filmmaker Rob Reiner and his longtime friend Billy Crystal. According to online discussions and unconfirmed reports, a tragic event was said to have taken place late one night, leaving fans around the world stunned and heartbroken. While official details remain unclear, the speed at which the story spread showed just how deeply Rob Reiner's work had touched people's lives. Many fans first learned about the situation through short clips and dramatic headlines, each one more alarming than the last. Words like tragic, unbelievable, and heartbreaking filled comment sections as people tried to understand what had happened. Some posts claimed that Billy Crystal, known for his humor and warmth, had finally broken his silence after hearing the news. These claims alone were enough to shock millions, because the friendship between Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner has been admired for decades. They were not just co-workers in the film industry. To many fans, they represented a bond built on trust, laughter, and shared history. As rumors spread, people began sharing old interviews and behind-the-scenes moments, showing the two men laughing together, joking on film sets, and supporting each other through long careers. This made the situation feel even heavier. According to online storytelling channels, Billy Crystal was said to be deeply shaken, struggling to accept what he was hearing. Some accounts described him as being at home when the first calls came in, while others claimed he learned through friends who could barely speak through their tears. None of these stories have been confirmed, but they paint a picture that many viewers found emotionally powerful. In these narratives, Billy is shown as frozen in shock, unable to understand how someone so full of life could suddenly be gone. His wife is often mentioned as being beside him, trying to stay strong while fear and sadness filled the room. The house, once calm and quiet, was described as suddenly heavy with grief. As the night went on, more claims appeared online, each adding new details and raising new questions. Some posts said that Billy Crystal felt a strong need to speak out, not for attention, but because he wanted to protect his friend's name. According to these stories, he was overwhelmed by anger and sadness, especially as darker rumors began to surface. These rumors, shared mostly by anonymous sources, suggested family conflicts, legal problems, and hidden struggles that the public had never known about. It is important to remember that these claims remain unverified, yet they spread rapidly because people were searching for answers. Many viewers said they felt confused and emotionally exhausted, unsure what to believe, but unable to look away. This first wave of reaction was driven by shock more than facts. People were reacting with their hearts, not their heads. For fans who grew up watching Rob Reiner's films, the idea of losing him in such a sudden and painful way felt unreal. His movies were not just entertainment. They were memories tied to childhood, family nights, and moments of laughter and tears. As a result, the story quickly became more than news. It became a shared emotional experience, fueled by speculation, sadness, and a deep sense of loss. As the online conversation grew louder, attention turned to Billy Crystal and the claims that he had spoken privately to a major magazine. According to dramatic retellings found across video platforms, this moment was described as Billy breaking his silence. These videos often show slow music, dark images, and serious narration, all designed to pull viewers into the story. In these accounts, Billy is said to have spoken with a trembling voice, struggling to hold back tears while sharing his pain. Again, there is no public confirmation of such an interview, but the idea alone captured people's attention. The reason is simple. Billy Crystal has always been seen as a man of humor and kindness. Seeing him placed in such a dark and emotional situation felt shocking to many. These stories suggest that Billy was not only grieving, but also deeply troubled by what he believed might come next. Some videos claimed that he hinted at unresolved legal matters, unfinished plans, and family tension that could cause serious problems in the future. These claims were usually framed as "sources say" or "reports suggest," which allowed the story to grow without clear evidence. As viewers listened, they felt a mix of sadness and unease. The idea that something dark could exist behind the public image of a beloved filmmaker was difficult to accept. At the same time, people began to question how much of what they were hearing was real. Comment sections filled with debates. Some users demanded proof and called for patience, while others believed the emotional tone meant the story had to be true. This divide showed how easily emotions can overpower logic during moments of grief. As the rumors continued, images of police lights, quiet streets, and sealed-off homes were shared again and again, even though many of these images were unrelated or taken from other events. Still, they helped create a powerful visual story. In these retellings, Billy Crystal was often shown arriving at a quiet street, standing silently, and struggling to stay upright as memories rushed back to him. The house was described as a place once filled with laughter, now surrounded by silence. These descriptions were repeated across multiple channels, almost word for word, showing how one story can be copied and reshaped until it feels real. Meanwhile, fans around the world reacted strongly. Social media platforms became places of mourning, with people posting famous lines from Rob Reiner's films, sharing photos of old movie tickets, and writing long messages about how his work shaped their lives. Some said they watched The Princess Bride with their parents. Others remembered crying during Stand By Me, or laughing endlessly at When Harry Met Sally. These personal stories made the situation feel very real, even as the facts remained unclear. Alongside sadness, anger began to appear. People questioned how something so terrible could happen, and why the truth felt so hidden. A few extreme voices pushed darker theories, blaming family members or suggesting conspiracies. These claims spread fast, even though they had no proof. This is how online storytelling often works. Emotion comes first, facts come later, if at all. Billy Crystal, whether he actually spoke or not, became the emotional center of the story. To many viewers, he represented the pain of losing not just a friend, but a shared piece of cultural history. His imagined reaction allowed fans to express their own grief through him. The story continued to grow, not because of confirmed information, but because it matched how people felt inside. As time passed, a more thoughtful conversation began to appear among viewers who stepped back and looked at the situation carefully. Many started asking important questions. Where did these stories come from? Why did so many channels repeat the same details? And why did the most dramatic versions spread the fastest? This shift marked a turning point in how the topic was discussed. Some creators reminded audiences that not everything online is true, especially when real people are involved. They encouraged viewers to separate emotion from evidence. These voices pointed out that Rob Reiner's legacy deserves respect, not confusion and fear. They also emphasized that Billy Crystal, a real person with a real family, should not be placed at the center of unproven claims. This more careful approach helped slow the spread of extreme rumors, though it did not stop them completely. Fans continued to share messages of love and gratitude, focusing less on the alleged tragedy and more on what Rob Reiner had given the world. Online memorials formed naturally. People posted clips of their favorite scenes, famous quotes, and moments that made them feel connected to his work. In these spaces, the mood changed from shock to reflection. Instead of asking how this could happen, people asked what his films meant to them. This change showed the power of storytelling, not just to shock, but to heal. Billy Crystal's name still appeared often, but now in a different way. Instead of focusing on alleged statements, people remembered his long friendship with Rob Reiner and the joy they created together. This felt more honest and respectful. The situation also became a lesson about modern media. It showed how fast stories can grow without confirmation, how emotion can spread faster than truth, and how important it is to pause before believing everything we hear. For viewers, it became clear that dramatic headlines are designed to trigger feelings, not provide clarity. In the end, what remains strongest is not the rumors, but the impact of Rob Reiner's work and the connections it created. His films brought people together, made them laugh, and helped them feel understood. That legacy is real and lasting. No online story, no matter how dramatic, can take that away. As audiences continue to talk about this topic, many are choosing to focus on gratitude instead of speculation. They are honoring the memories, not the rumors, and that may be the most meaningful response of all. For more than 5 decades, Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner have shared one of the most genuine and enduring friendships in Hollywood. In an industry often marked by competition, ego, and short-lived connections, their bond has stood as something rare and deeply meaningful. Long before they became household names, before awards, box office success, and iconic films, they were simply 2 young men driven by humor, curiosity, and a love for storytelling. Their friendship did not begin with fame or ambition, but with laughter, timing, and a natural understanding that neither of them expected, yet both immediately felt. It all began in the early 1970s, during a time when Rob Reiner was already becoming well known for his role as Meathead on the groundbreaking television show All in the Family. Billy Crystal, meanwhile, was just starting out, newly arrived in Los Angeles and eager to make his mark. When Billy appeared on the show as the best friend of Rob's character, something special happened almost instantly. From their very first scenes together, there was an ease between them that felt natural and unforced. They made each other laugh without trying, and the humor flowed effortlessly. Crew members noticed it, and so did the actors themselves. It was clear that this was more than just 2 performers doing their jobs well. There was a real connection forming. After filming one of their early scenes, the 2 found themselves laughing so hard that it was difficult to continue working. That shared laughter became the foundation of everything that followed. Over time, casual conversations turned into long talks, and professional respect turned into genuine friendship. Billy, who was still finding his footing in Hollywood, saw Rob not only as a talented actor, but as someone he could trust and learn from. Rob, in turn, recognized Billy's sharp wit, intelligence, and emotional honesty. They were different in personality, but perfectly balanced. where one was thoughtful and structured, the other was spontaneous and expressive. Together, they brought out the best in each other. As Billy settled more permanently in Los Angeles, their friendship deepened. They began spending time together outside of work, sharing meals, attending baseball games, and talking late into the night. These moments were not about networking or career planning. They were about companionship, support, and shared joy. They talked about life, relationships, fears, and dreams. During difficult times, they leaned on one another. During happy moments, they celebrated together. This emotional closeness became the backbone of their relationship and would later influence some of their most important creative projects. Rob Reiner, who eventually shifted his focus from acting to directing, found in Billy Crystal a trusted voice and honest collaborator. Billy was someone Rob could speak to openly, someone who would challenge ideas without ego and offer encouragement without flattery. When Rob began developing films that explored love, relationships, and human connection, Billy was often part of those conversations. Their shared experiences, personal struggles, and emotional insights found their way into the stories they told on screen. This was especially true during the development of When Harry Met Sally, a film that would go on to become one of the most beloved romantic comedies of all time. At the heart of that film was a deep understanding of human behavior, love, fear, and vulnerability. Much of that understanding came from long conversations between Billy and Rob, often drawn from their own lives. Rob, who had gone through a painful divorce, brought honesty and emotional depth to the project. Billy listened, shared his own perspectives, and helped shape a character that felt real and relatable. The character of Harry Burns reflected Rob's own doubts and questions about love, while Billy's performance gave those feelings warmth, humor, and humanity. At first, Rob hesitated to cast Billy in the lead role, worried that mixing friendship with business could risk damaging their relationship if the film failed. But Billy reassured him, reminding Rob that their friendship was built on trust, not success. That decision would change both of their careers forever. When the film was finally shown to a test audience, Billy and Rob sat together in the back of the theater, nervous and unsure of how it would be received. As the movie played, they barely spoke, holding on to the quiet hope that they had created something meaningful. When the lights came up and the applause began, it became clear that the story had connected deeply with viewers. In that moment, they shared a silent understanding that their risk had been worth it. It was not just a professional success, but a personal victory rooted in years of friendship, trust, and shared experience.